नमस्कार, फिर पैसा बोलता है में आपका स्वागत है। मैं आनंद श्रीनिवासन। आज मेरे साथ मेरे भाई हैं। इसमें अंग्रेजी में 2 दिन के लिए करेंगे क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग ने पूछे कि हॉट टेक्स्ट क्या करेंगे। जो न्यूज़पेपर से इम्पोर्टेंट न्यूज़ था उसका विश्लेषण करेंगे। सवाल मेरे भाई पूछेगा, मैं उसका जवाब दूंगा।
Anand,
यस।
there's this curious article which I was reading about income tax and income tax slab. Since the budget of 2005-2006, gold has risen more than 10 times in the last 19 years, but the tax slabs have not changed much. Basic income tax exemptions limit 1 lakh in the year 2005-2006, which was worth around 145 grams of gold then. However, 2.5 lakh is the basic exemption limit now, which is worth a tiny 34 grams in gold. So poor people are getting taxed without unchanged rates, not factoring adverse impact of inflation. If you take gold standard as a tax slab, we should be at 10 lakhs for 10%. What do you think about this?
See, first thing is the 2.5 lakhs is not there anymore. You can straight away opt for the new regime if your salary is around 7 lakhs. So the number should be 7 lakhs. Which is, instead of 2.5 lakhs is 7 lakhs, is about nearly 100 grams. Okay. Second, what has happened is India's people's income has not risen along with that of gold. Gold has risen faster than income. That is basically saying inflation has gone higher than salaries. Let me flip it this way and say, inflation suppose is growing at 8%. That means your expenses are doubling every 72 by 8, rule of 72, 9 years. So suppose I'm spending 50,000 rupees today, and we are inflating at 8%, which is a reasonable assumption for those below the poverty line. So, which is, if I'm spending 50,000 a month, middle class person. So 50 in 8 years will become 1 lakh. In 16 years will be 2 lakhs. And again double in another 8 years will become 4 lakhs in 32 years. So your inflation is growing at that pace. Okay, the headline inflation is at 5%. But there's another problem. For the rich, the real inflation is in food and shelter, which affects the lower middle class more than the
Or any other inflation?
middle class or this thing. So the lower you are in strata, the higher the inflation. And those people's salaries are not going up. In fact, rest of the world, 2 times median salary is where income tax kicks in. India's median salary today is 16,000 rupees. So 32,000 rupees is where tax is supposed to kick in. That's 3.6 lakhs. We are at 4 times median. There is no possibility of reducing taxes. Because if your median is 16 and your exemption is at 7 lakhs, that means you have 60,000 is where your tax exemption is there. 658,000 to be round about 58,000. So 16 is 32, and then 48, then 64. It's just short of the fourth median. 3.8 median is where you are beginning to tax, which is a very low, which excludes 99% of India from tax. So there is no poor people don't pay tax in India, right? Median income is 15%. It's less than top 5% which pay income tax. And somebody making a lakh of rupees and husband and wife making 1.5 or 2 lakhs have a huge lifestyle advantage over the very poor who are making 15 to 20,000. They are not poor. There is in India's structure, which is now very popular in all the TV channels, YouTube channels has come. I'll ask them to put it. The top 1% makes 53 lakhs a year in salary. This is not without demat profits, that is profits on mutual funds and stocks.
Just pure salary.
Pure salary, pure income is 53 lakhs is top 1%. Top 10% is at 1.3 lakhs per month. That is about 13 lakhs per annum. This is the top 11%. Then you have a big 40% chunk, which is about 2 lakhs, 1.5, 15,000 to 16,000. And then you have the bottom 50,000 making 70,000 rupees per year. You mean to say 90% of India is not paying tax? 90 to 95%. You mean in a society like us, only 5% can pay tax? No, no way. And if you have to have a normal society, the richer have to pay more taxes and the poor have to pay less taxes. But in India's case, after GST, the proportion of GST and indirect taxes is far above the proportion of direct taxes. And even in that, the amount of taxes corporates and companies pay is less than what the individuals pay. You are allowing the rich to get away scot free, and that is not possible.
Okay. So basically, the solution, what you're recommending is that we re-look at corporate tax and taxing the rich at more reasonable rates
Yes,
than what we are
yes,
currently living on.
yes.
Because the poor cannot be taxed any further.
No, they cannot
So
be.
the rich have to start coming more to the table.
And the maximum tax exemptions have been given in 7 lakhs. They are more than generous.
So this next article which I read about, which was interesting, I don't want to mention the company specifically, then it'll go sideways, is that another company has launched mutual fund, NFO, on companies targeting only at defense stocks, companies which are doing defense allied products and services. And that has given already a return of 9% in 8 days. Do you think there's an opportunity in defense stocks?
I don't think so because unless you are doing export in defense. There are HDFC did that and scrapped the fund saying that there are not enough opportunities. If you Godrej is doing defense is a private company. L&T, Tata Power, Tata Motors, Mahindra, and there are about three other companies. These are in HAL and HAL, Bharat Electronics. There are only about 7-8 companies which make substantial contribution to defense. Except HAL, nobody is 100% dependent on army because the orders from the army are few and far between. So, such a fund in India, not at all. It will not fly.
Okay. Next one, which seems to be everyone seems to be speculating on, is what lies ahead for the budget of 2024 in indirect taxes.
The indirect taxes, there is no big proposal because the GST is known outside. And they have already hiked customs duty on electronic goods, consumer goods, and gold. And what the market is expecting is a cut in the import tax of gold. I don't think that is happening.
And what is your view? Our government last time around, they were very keen on privatization of PSUs. Now they've taken a different stance, saying they will look at restructuring the PSUs instead of going private.
There is no different stance. The fact is, no, you are not in majority and nothing will pass parliament. And already now, Chandrababu Naidu has asked for 60,000 crores. So only you will catch a Balika Bakra, that is PSU stock which is listed in the markets, is going to spend 60,000 crores to set up a refinery. Funded by that company doesn't have money, so it will be public sector banks that are going to fund it. By the time the refinery is ready, peak oil would have passed. I don't know where they are going to sell the petrol and diesel that they come out of that. So to make such fancy projects so that people can stay in power, you need public sector units. Yeah. So there's no question of selling them.
Okay. The next one is about Manappuram. Manappuram in the last month or so has seen increase of almost 20%. What is this? Is there something happening in Manappuram?
I do not know. One, the Ashirvad is going to be listed. Two, the price of gold has gone up, which means for the same gold they can lend more money. And this is the reason why we considered it.
Talking about gold, what do you think with the US inflation data looking better, softer than what was expected? Do you think Fed will move up its timelines?
See, it's only a matter of time. One cut is not going to make a big difference. But looks like there will be a series of cuts. If there are 4 cuts and more, I expect gold to rally by 10-15%. That happens, your gold here will also move up by 10-15%. आपने इस पॉडकास्ट को सुना, इसके लिए मैं आपका आभारी हूँ. हो सके तो इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिए, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल नोटिफिकेशन दबाएं. अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया, अपने दोस्त और रिश्तेदार के पास ये वीडियो भेजें और उनको देखने के आग्रह करें। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद।
जय हिंद।